Morice McMillin, welcome to Down the Track on InView TV. How are you?
I'm good, Bruce. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Look, we've got a lot to talk about. There's some exciting news I know you want to share with us a bit later on, but I want to start with your career and how it started back in New Zealand. I'm going to bring out some footage as you're talking about it, but tell us a bit about your journey in New Zealand before we start talking about how it's taken shape here in Australia.
Yeah, look, I was just like most other kids in drag racing and went to the track and saw the junior dragsters and fell in love and yeah, said to mum and dad, I want one of those. And they said, yeah, right, if you miss three birthdays and Christmases, then we'll get you one. I think they were trying to convince me out of it, but as a 5-year-old kid, I said absolutely. And it just carried on since. So, and it just, yeah, look, I always had a love for funny cars and we raced this Outlaw funny car in New Zealand and started in a nostalgia car with me and my dad. And it just kind of just progressed and went into partnership with a good friend of mine, Ryan Sheldon, the car you see on the screen. And look, we didn't have much money. We raced that thing on a shoestring budget, but man, we had a lot of fun and learnt a lot. Like you look back now and you think of some of the things we got away with. As you can see, racing here on tracks at airports with no guardrails and things like that. But
That is an
it
airport.
certainly made you learn a lot.
That's right. That's a airstrip, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Masterton Motorplex it was called, and thankfully now they've got a really beautiful purpose-built facility just around the corner. But that's what it was back then, and we happily raced there. And I guess naively we knew no different from a safety perspective. And as I said, you learnt so much having to race in difficult track conditions that it certainly put you in a good point later in life when you had to manage different temperatures and things like that. So I'm very thankful for the racing we did in New Zealand. And obviously one bad Kiwi, as you see on screen there, I was lucky enough through a mutual friend that my name got suggested to Graham and Wendy Cowan. And one day I got a text saying that Graham Cowan's gonna call you, which, yeah, as you can imagine, as a big drag racing fan, it's pretty nerve-wracking when you get that text. So yeah, and me and Graham just hit it off from day one, and it's just kind of carried on from there.
And so, what was that text message? Come and drive the bad Kiwi car, was it?
Oh, the text was literally just Graham Cowan's going to give you a call, and then yeah, sure enough, 10 minutes later he called and we talked, and they were going testing the next week, and I just turned around and said, well, cool, I'm going to get on a plane and we're going to come watch and meet the team. And actually with a friend of mine, Jeff, who still works on flies over and works on the car now. We actually went half sold a gearbox, and that paid for our flights over. And I guess you could say the rest is history. But when we got the car, and Graham had what became the One Bad Kiwi sitting in the shed at home, and we put a deal together. I come over for the first race. I didn't even know it was going to be called One Bad Kiwi. They come up with a name. Didn't tell me. We turned up and walked in, and there it was. And yeah, I still remember the day and just the shock. I didn't even know what to say.
You must have been over the moon to get a call from them. I actually worked on the Outlaw cars in the very, very early days. Graham was still running the Top Fuel Dragster. Andrew was driving it. And they put out an advert for mechanic or something, no experience necessary. I applied for it, but I've really got no experience. I wasn't expecting to get a call back or anything like that. Anyway, I got the gig. I worked for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they realised I'm not the person to be working on cars. Talk about cars, marketing cars, all that sort of stuff, but not working on it. So didn't last too long in the workshop, but enjoyed those few weeks anyway. So now the series, you're managing that series as well, is that right?
Yeah, so I came over and raced a couple of events, and Graham actually said to me at the time, he said, "Oh, you should move over to Sydney," and I kind of laughed and said, "There's no way I'm moving to Sydney." And then 6 months later, me and my wife are on a plane and moving here, and we just haven't looked back. And honestly, we love it here now. And yeah, so my role is look after the series. We've got some really good guys in the shop now who ease my workload and do an incredible job in servicing the cars and looking after the whole operation. Because as you can imagine, and I don't think too many people appreciate how much work goes into keeping these cars on the track. So the guys here work so hard.
And then working so hard just to keep the Outlaw cars on the track must be one thing I can imagine. I had a very short glimpse of what that takes. And now you've got so many cars, the workload to keep them on the track, obviously, but also the marketing and the management and the admin side of it I can only imagine how much that is. And now you've taken on even a bigger challenge. You've gone to the big show, Nitro Funny Cars. You raced 3 in the series last year. They were called Top Fuel Funny Cars. You're now racing in the NRDC, which we're going to talk about, NDRC, I should say. We're going to talk about that in a while. But that must be so exciting for you to race in that team last year. And tell us the effort it's taken to go from the Outlaw series to these big show Nitro Funny Cars.
In terms of the effort, it's almost been starting the team again. Not many of the parts fit, and the learning process in running the cars there's a lot of similarities. Like Nitro still is all about fuel and load. You make more load, you need more fuel, and that's how you make the cars go fast and how you make horsepower. But just the way you do that is completely different. What these the Big Show Nitro Funny Cars have taught us was how good the Outlaw cars were. We took the Chev out a couple of months ago and the 57, and we went 521, 522, and 535 for the 3 passes, and we didn't pull the thing apart all day. Left the same clutch in it. You don't realize how good and how much time and development has gone into those Outlaw cars to make them so cool. And then you go to these Big Show cars, and the amount of work and the amount of just between rounds, let alone back at the shop, is just astronomical. And it takes a lot of people to do it, and a lot of good people, because everyone needs to invest in it. Everyone needs to buy into it, because it's a lot of work. And I say over and over again, us guys that get to drive them, we're just the lucky ones that represent the team. But every team member, without any single one of them, the car doesn't go down the racetrack. One mistake means you can't go down the racetrack. Everyone does their job perfectly, you might go down the racetrack. So it's definitely a big team effort and a lot of work.
And driving wise, what's the big difference when driving between the two?
Look, people laugh when I say this, but going from the Outlaw cars, which ran 530s at 277, 278 mile an hour, to going into the 4s at over 300 is probably the same step as going from a 9-second car to a 6-second car. Yes, there's still a funny car. Yes, the motor's still in front of you and all that kind of stuff. But what your body goes through and the way you've got to drive these things with the Big Show cars is just completely different. It's a whole new animal to learn.
And more exciting, or both equally exciting?
Oh, look, they've both got different things about them. The Big Show car is just pure power, they're just angry. You're pinned back in your seat all the way down the racetrack. Whereas the Outlaw cars, you do as much driving, you always got to shift gear. And it's just the way you drive them is different, but definitely no different. And you get out the other end, you're still pumped no matter which car you're in.
I just want to bring up these pictures and just comment about it. First of all, I mean, this is just a car in full flight. It's just a spectacular shot, and I'm sure we're going to see many more shots like that coming up in this series. But Nitro Funny Car in full flight is just a sight to behold. And then this shot here just is a pinnacle of teamwork, and you already mentioned what it takes, and it's very much a team, and you can see everyone work on here, ladies, gents, older people, younger people, everyone pitching in, doing all sorts of things. The teamwork is just fantastic, and I know what it takes to run something like that. And then this one here, of course, it's more than just one team you've got. There's 3 teams. You've got the Hearts, you've got the Aeroflow, and you've got the Rocket. And so the 3 teams to manage, all looking fantastic there. All must be so keyed up to be running again this year in the new National Drag Racing Championship in the Nitro Funny Car Series. So tell us about that. Tell us what your thoughts are on the NDRC, and firstly, and then what's your plans for it?
Yeah, look, I guess probably the first thing I say with looking at those photos, the first photo was definitely the result. seeing that car leave the start line, I still look at it and can't believe I actually get to drive one of these things. But you look at that photo, and that's the result that the other two photos create. It's that teamwork, it's that camaraderie, it's working for each other that create that last photo of that that car leaving the start line. And then that last photo of the three teams is we have a mantra within our group. It's one team, one dream. Whether you're on the Hearts car, the Rocket car, or the Aeroflow car, the car you're on is irrelevant. It is one team. We're the Aeroflow Nitro Funny Car team, and even when it comes down to pack up, we're not done till every team's done. It really is one big team. So look, we're really excited about the upcoming season, the NDRC. From two factors, I guess. From a racing factor, I think as the class is growing, and there's not a car out there that can't win it now. You look at the Winter Nationals, and I think 4 of the 5 cars were in the 4-second zone. 4 of the 5 went over 300 mile an hour, and then the other one still went 5.0 something, and was still outstanding. So there's not the whole class is just developing. It's getting stronger as we get more knowledge in what we do, and all the teams get more knowledge. It's just going to keep growing, and there's some good camaraderie. But like I say to everyone, often the camaraderie is the biggest problem, because you'd rather lose to someone you don't know than lose to some of your good mates. Because when you do, it's all good fun, but you definitely don't want to lose to someone who's gonna rub it in for the next 2 months before the next race. So we're really excited about the series. We obviously put our hand up and said, right, we need to do this. We need to do our part to bring the sport back together and bring it under one championship banner, which to us was very important. And I think something the sport needs. It might not be perfect in the first year, but it's definitely the way forward. And that mantra of one way forward, I think really is something that we as a sport need to kind of grasp hold of, and support each other to get this series going, and support what Nathan and Andy have put together, so we can get the sport back on top of the charts.
Fantastic. Look, I'm a full supporter of it. As you know, I've done a few shows and had Andy on the show as well. And I'll certainly be there at the Bend in October, and then Sydney the week after. So really looking forward to this upcoming series. So what is your team's plans for the series?
Yeah, so obviously we have the Aeroflow car, the Rocket car, and the Hearts car out of our stable. People would have seen this morning that we've actually released for the Sydney round. We will have Tommy Johnson Jr. out, and he will be driving a 4th car. So we'll actually be turning up with 4 cars out of the stable, which
Wow.
is a huge effort, and the resources and everything that Graham and Wendy have put into not only this team but the sport as a whole. Hopefully we can do a good to showcase that for them. But to have Tommy come out to get to race a bloke like that, and to get him to race in our cars, and he's actually driving the championship winning car from last year, which we effectively call the Aeroflow Ninja. So the car's the national record holder and won the championship. So I'm pretty sure that we're giving him every chance to come
absolutely.
in and beat up on us. But we'll be trying to stop him.
And so what's the car that's replacing that one then?
Look, I probably can't announce that here, but probably keep an eye, and we'll let you know in the next few days. We've got some exciting developments that are still to come, and hopefully it really, I guess, showcases what we can do as a team, and showcases what the whole entire Funny Car group is about, and that's putting on a show and getting these cars down the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, that is fantastic news. As you said, what Graham and Wendy Cowan's done to the sport is just unbelievable. And the time, effort, and financial effort they put into this whole drag racing of their whole life, and not just for them. Obviously, they're doing it for them. They love it and they're passionate. But what they've done for the rest of the sport and the rest of the people like yourself and the crew and everyone else associated with it is just an unbelievable effort. And the whole Australian drag racing community certainly thanks them. So it's going to be very exciting. Go on, yeah. Sorry, Morice.
No, I was just going to say to add to that, it is incredible what they've done, for the people in our team, the likes of myself, Brandon, the amount of people they've put through, Josh Lay and the Bandit, Justin Walsh. None of us would have these opportunities to drive these cars, but it's also the opportunities they've given to, a lot of the crew guys. A lot of our, we call it the Aeroflow family. We wouldn't have these opportunities without, Graham and Wendy, just loving the sport so much and prepared to, I guess I hate saying the word, but put your money where your mouth is. And you can see Aeroflow signage at tracks all over the country. And that's out of love. That is out of your love for the sport. And he loves supporting it and he loves doing it. And, Wendy's right behind the whole team. So we're very privileged to represent them.
Yeah, fine words indeed. Look, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks, Morice. It's been great to talk to you. Really looking forward to seeing you racing firstly in Sydney with a 4-car team, which is great, and then the following rounds after that. Looking forward to the whole drag racing scene this season. Is there any last words that you want to thank anyone? Any last words? Any last fighting words or anything you want to say to anyone before we go?
No, look, I guess it's just that, I think I've spoken enough about how much of, for us, this is definitely a team thing, and without Graham and Wendy, this wouldn't happen. And all the people at Rocket and Aeroflow who make this happen from all their hard work. So, look, we're just looking forward to a big year with the NDRC. We hope all the Australian drag racing public get behind it, and yeah, just bring on the season ahead, and hopefully we can try stop TJ from taking home all the gold we're back to America.
Exactly. Look, thanks, Morice, for being on the show. It's been fantastic. Look forward to seeing your race. All the best for the season, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for being on Down the Track.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it.